That the basis for the Monroe Doctrine is that your region matters to us. That's the only reason the Monroe Doctrine exists. We care what happens in this hemisphere. What is America First? America First is not America alone. It is America First with our friends. Marines are close to my heart. The Marines have a saying about the Corps: no better friend, no worse enemy. That's President Trump. You want to be our friend? Act like it. And if you act like it, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you. And becomes the commander-in-chief yet again. If you share our values, you are on Team Western Civilization. Not just Western Hemisphere, Western Civilization. President Trump stated the following: the only question of our time is if we have the will to defend and save our civilization from those who wish to destroy it. If you believe that, the next 4 years will be beautiful for you and America.
I don't think there's any way to properly introduce our next speaker because he's just so phenomenal and so many people know him. But he is the one person that I would always go to if I ever had a question on counterterrorism. And you know what this means, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. You have spent much of your career fighting terrorists, educating the FBI, educating our leaders in law enforcement and our military. You are truly an American hero and a patriot. And the reason why we have so many allies around the world, like the Uber driver who came here for freedom and looking for a better life, Dr. Sebastian Gorka.
Thank you, Sarah. There's about 3 real journalists in America, and she's one of them. President Pena, Secretary Duffy, ambassadors, governors. Oh, and what did Kyron call him? The sexy, cool governor, Secretary Perry. Can I get introduced like that next time, Kyron, please? I'd like the sexy CT guy. It's superb to be here. I want to recognize a few other people, given where I spent 15 years of my life with my beautiful wife. We have the Deputy President of Fidesz here as well, Kinga Gal. Welcome. Good friends, Jim Carafano, who supported my radio show for the last 6 years. Thank you for everything you've done. Chris Farrell. You better polish your boots, dude, because we want you inside the building. Counterintelligence expert par excellence, and so many others. I'm only here because of that man, who we need inside the building, who I have been told by him should be called Humire. Okay, I've been chastised for calling him Humire. You can call him Humire if you want. Or if you're a Marine, you can call him Humvee, which was his nickname. You have one fatal flaw, my friend, and you are a friend of mine. You have no ego. And in this city, that's a problem. But if I can do something about it, you will be in the inside. So Jim, make sure that you and Alex get together and get somebody to take over his outfit, because we need him inside. But first, I want to tell Joe, do you know how lucky you got me to speak here today? I mean, presidents, ambassadors, secretaries. I have refused every media request for the last month, okay? Because I'm in this weird twilight zone where I go from being the loud guy with the funny accent on TV and radio to being inside a skiff for 12 hours a day as of 12:01 on Monday. And I said, sorry, I'm not doing it, no interviews. This is the only thing I got cleared with my new boss. He said, you can come and do this for Joe. So that's why I'm here. Why am I here? One of the reasons is I want to give a chance to Patrick Bet-David. So since I closed my show, you've got a shot now at the top spot, so good luck. If you're not familiar, Follow his show now on YouTube, especially he got the president on his set inside the bank vault. It's a good interview, but the most important thing is look at what's on the wall behind the president's head. It's my signature, okay? So go and check that out. Tom, Business Doc, great to see you. Crazy man Vince, keep doing what you do. But seriously, it's so, I just want all of you, can you all just come into government, please? Can we take this room and just, come and work for Elon, for the president, because we need you guys. Whether it's Abby, Diane, Mike Gonzalez, what a great, great group of people. I hadn't planned to say what I'm about to say, but I have to because of what Chiron Skinner said. I'm not going to talk to you about counterterrorism. I'm going to talk to you about the next 4 years for your country and my country. And I say this as a legal immigrant to the United States. I chose this country. And I want to talk about our shared future in this hemisphere, but more importantly, in this civilization. We're about to save our civilization. And I want you there with me, with Mike Waltz, the incoming National Security Advisor, former Green Beret, and with President Trump. But what you said, Chiron, I think is important for everybody here, especially if you're in government or you've served your nation. Because if you're a patriot and you love your country, it's been a tough few years. And I want to especially recognize, outside of President Trump, probably the greatest victim of undemocratic forces in America, who I consider to be a friend of mine, great warrior for the truth, General Mike Flynn. Yeah. And it kind of galls me that the list doesn't end there. Of the people purely in this room, I want to recognize my former colleague from the National Security Council, Adam Lovinger. Stand up, please, Adam. A man who only wanted to serve his country, and the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy, tried to destroy him. You want the details? Read the book. It is a shocking tale of people in the highest positions of government trying to destroy a man simply because Mike Flynn and President Trump wanted him in the White House. I want to recognize Chiron, a fighter par excellence. These are people who decided to give their all. I want to recognize the Schlaps, likewise, who fought for the president and were targeted. And I think it's not just Americans. You come from countries where, it's not easy to be a patriot. And it sounds crazy, I know, but I said this, it came to me about 3 months ago on my radio show. I said, I got this crazy idea. I would like both of the political parties in America to love America. What a crazy idea. I can argue with you as a Democrat on taxation policy, on this and that and education, but could you please love America instead of opening our borders, giving billions of dollars to nations like Iran that want to destroy us, and using our military as some petri dish of gender, social engineering? That's all I want. Love your country. And as such, and this is nice because I'm not a government employee yet. I've got 42 hours left. So I will make a political statement. In our country, as in yours, I believe there are no political parties. None. I've said for months, for years, can we just delete the little R after your name or the little D after your name? It is irrelevant. Even concepts of conservative or liberal, delete. Because the only question that matters is, do you love America or do you hate it? You can't love America and let 16 million people in this country illegally. It's impossible. You can't tell Israel, don't negotiate with the people who are holding US citizens hostage because it may make us look bad. This is the level that we have sunken to as a nation, where half of the elite hates the country they're supposed to represent. So, let's look at the future. Let's look at 1201. Let's look at the incoming commander-in-chief. Chiron could give you an 8-hour lecture on international relations theory and how it applies to the Trump administration. The unusual thing about President Trump is he won't talk to you about IR theories. He'll talk to you about what's good for America. And this thing that Joe mentioned, the Monroe Doctrine, is really interesting. Because the Monroe Doctrine is based on one thing, not just sovereignty. The Monroe Doctrine only works if you understand that the basis for the Monroe Doctrine is that your region matters to us. That's the only reason the Monroe Doctrine exists. We care what happens in this hemisphere. And that's going to happen again at 1201. I've fought hard for the last 6 years to help people understand what President Trump believes. What is America first? America first is not America alone. It is America first with our friends. When I was in the first Trump administration, people always used to ask me, so what's the president's foreign policy? What's going to change in national security? Now, sir, would you please cover your ears? At that point, I stole something from the Marine Corps because I love my devil dogs. I spent 2.5 years teaching at Quantico. I love all the services, but Marines are close to my heart. And the Marines have a saying about the Corps: no better friend, no worse enemy. That's President Trump. You want to be our friend? Act like it. And if you act like it, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you. That's what happens when Donald Trump raises his hand for a second time and becomes the commander-in-chief yet again. If you share our values, you are on Team Western Civilization. Not just Western Hemisphere, Western civilization. Two things. Number one, what's the most important thing President Trump ever said? Apart from November 2022 at Mar-a-Lago when he said, I'm running again. That's pretty important. Most important thing he did, and it's not because I was involved in it, which I was his Warsaw speech in the summer of 2017. If you didn't watch it or you've forgotten it, I implore you, if you want to understand the next 4 years, go home and watch the Warsaw speech. The government of Poland wanted us to give it downtown in some ugly government building, and the president said, no. I want to stand next to the giant statue of the Polish patriots coming out of the sewers to fight the Nazis in the Warsaw Uprising. And they said, but it's hard to secure, and we don't care, secure it. We want him to stand next to that statue of patriots taking their country back. It's a short speech. Watch the last 3 minutes, because there's one sentence that will help you understand your role as our friends for the next 4 years. President Trump stated the following: the only question of our time is if we have the will to defend and save our civilization from those who wish to destroy it. There is no other question. Whether they are outside of our countries, inside of our countries, do we have the willpower to protect our civilization? Okay. Last thing, just to kind of try and prove what I just said for the last 15 minutes. When did President Trump win the election? There's lots of things you can point to. Being shot in the head by a Democrat donor. The garbage truck. The yellow vest. So many things to point to, right? When that tipping point for when America said, I want that back. I'll tell you when he won it, for me. And it illustrates why we do what we do, why Joe's mother asks him that question and the response that Joe gives, why every single one of you is here today. It's the McDonald's. But it's not the French fry station. I love it when it says, oh, this is so hygienic, untouched by human hand as he's shucking the fries into the carton. It's just so genuine. It's not that. It's not putting on the apron, taking off his Brioni jacket, no. It's the drive-through window. Go back and watch the video of the drive-through window interaction. One of the families drives up is from the South Asian subcontinent. Thick Indian accents. And they're immigrants, and they're Americans. And the president's handing the bag of burgers out free to the husband. And the husband says, first the husband says, thank you for doing what you're doing for people like us who are nobodies. What does he immediately respond? What do you mean you're a nobody? There is no American who is a nobody, and he lectures them. You matter. But then, turn up the volume and listen to what the wife says from the other side of the vehicle. She says, thank you, Mr. President, for taking a bullet for us. Watch the president's reaction. It's not a talking point. It's not a speech on a teleprompter. He pauses and he says, yeah, I guess I took a bullet for you. That is our civilization. You love your country enough that you will take a bullet for your country? That's who everybody in this room is. If you believe that, the next 4 years will be beautiful for you and America. God bless you.